Cool.
No, let's do it.
So I wanted to start off talking about your business in COVID, but I actually want to go back a little bit more because I recently read, I was going through your Instagram and I read kind of the more personal story behind the start of your business.
Yes.
And I felt like so many people can probably relate to that right now. I'm paraphrasing here, but you had talked about this business kind of rose from the ashes, rose from a dark time. And I feel like a lot of people are going through something like that right now. So could you give a brief synopsis on where Lilac and Flint came from?
Absolutely. So I've been in the spa industry about 20 years, and 11 years ago opened my first skincare studio in San Francisco, and then I had expanded it into a bigger space in Oakland. I had most 6 estheticians that worked there. It was a bigger operation. And when I moved to Sacramento, I had kind of downsized it a little bit because I had my daughter. I was home with her more, and I had my skincare studio here. But unfortunately, I broke my foot and I couldn't walk. It was this long, drawn-out, year-long saga. And I was really down about it at first. I really couldn't function. But what started to happen—
and you're on their feet all day. You're on your feet all day.
All day with a 2-year-old, so you understand.
Yes.
And I couldn't work, was the bigger thing. And so this is a process I've come to learn inside of myself, to trust the creative process, especially under pressure. And what started to happen was I had this product line in my mind for the last 10, 11 years since I had opened my studio, because so many product lines out there, they formulate at one lab. And so you end up with this situation where there's a couple superstar products and then the rest of the line is kind of meh. And I wanted a line of all superstars. That was my goal. And I had been building this in my mind using all of the ingredients that I love, like all of my biggest tools in my toolbox, and I wanted them all in one line. So I finally had this moment where I was literally laying on the couch all the time. Like,
right.
As a mom, you don't have time like that. And so I realized it wasn't really this horrible situation. It was actually this huge opportunity to bring the thing to life that I had dreamed of for so long. And so that's how Lilac and Flint was born. And then once I was able to walk again, I started taking clients again, and I realized it was such an amazing set of tools, this product line, that it was time to share it with other estheticians. So I started to wholesale the line to other estheticians in January of this year.
Wow.
That kind of had started the whole 2020.
So that's a great segue. So because regulations vary from state to state, and I think even in California they're varying from county to county on what's an essential business, what can be open, what is closed. So how have you been dealing? How is your wholesale product line going? How has your business been going as an esthetician? Because we recently published an article last week about skincare is an essential business and kind of the pinpoints as to why they are, and linking it to dentistry and talking about the stress relieving and how estheticians also are so used to working in strict health codes. Like you talk about an environment that's safe. A facial is probably an environment that's really safe. So talk to me a little bit about how you're dealing with it out there in California.
So you're correct. It is county by county. And there's like 4 different stages of reopening, and each county is in a certain stage. So my county has only just reopened 2 weeks ago. We were shut down for 8.5 months.
Wow.
And of course, in the beginning, we didn't know how long it was going to be. A few counties opened and then reclosed. Most counties have reopened as of the last few weeks. Except for LA and some of the bigger, I think LA is starting to open now. But yeah, it's been a really challenging time, especially for estheticians who depend on the service income. It's really that piece, because retail is still strong. But the service piece, it's important to understand that, when people are going without their services, they're not going to then, catch back up later. They're
Right,
just
gonna
not.
recoup that. Yep.
Yeah. So that income is not replaceable for estheticians. And I think the legislature, legislators as a whole, all probably 100% of them are getting their hair and nails done. But maybe was just a less known service that they weren't bringing their focus to it. And I think estheticians really fell between the cracks for many months.
Right.
And the focus was really on reopening salons and nail salons, but not so much addressing the issue of estheticians. So I'm glad to see that we're now included in the conversation at all.
Right, absolutely.
And glad that people are starting to reopen. Here's Pat. I knew he was going to make a cameo.
I see him in the back.
Rooming to the side.
That's okay. More than welcome.
So it's a really interesting time, and I think very similar to the start of Lilac and Flint at all. I'm in that same exact place right now where I feel, at first I felt terrified and unsure of the future and confused as to what to do, which is, I think, a universal feeling for everyone right now. But then I kind of just got creative, and I love that part. That's what makes me an entrepreneur, and I think what will save the service industry in general is staying flexible and letting yourself try new things and have ideas. The one cool thing I will say is, like, right now, everyone's clients are fully open to new things, more than they ever have been in the past. So whereas before they may not have been open to like a monthly skincare box or at-home treatments, now they're wide open to that.
Right.
So that's one way that's kind of transformed my business. I made the decision early on to stop doing services, which is actually a crazy decision for me. That's like part of who I am, I feel like. So it was a big grieving and letting go. But the product line has kind of taken a new direction, and I really moved my services to be virtual. So I do all of my consulting via text message now, which clients actually really love. And I'm really focused on home care and the wholesale business.
Yeah. And it seems like that's the direction that has been going when people can't go in and see in person their esthetician. So it's these monthly or bi-monthly boxes. It's, when we talk to Mary Rose, our esthetician on the East Coast, she's like, I don't want my clients to regress. Like, that's the big thing. I don't want them to regress. So what are you seeing popular right now with your clientele? You said you mentioned some things that have become a little bit more popular since the pandemic hit. What are the trends you're seeing?
So I always have had a big focus on home care. And I always say this is, I know you said earlier, like relating this to dentistry. So in my philosophy, my skincare philosophy, I always say, oh my God, it's pushing the computer. I always say that it's like going to the dentist. You have to brush and floss every single day.
Right.
And go to the dentist for your regular services.
Right.
If you're just going to an esthetician for facials and you're not taking care of your skin every single day, you're not getting anywhere.
Right.
And I think this is very much in line with Nola Pelly's concept, which is your skin health is really about the everyday activities that you're doing that add up over time. So when you're sleeping with your face on a pillowcase every single night, hopefully for 6 to 8 hours, that's going to have a profound effect on the outcomes of your skin. And the same with home care. Your home care regimen is the most important thing you can do for your skin. So I think that that's the biggest trend right now, is people are realizing that, like, the power is within themselves. They have the power to transform their skin if they can use the direction of their esthetician to help them customize their regimen.
Yeah.
So that's a big trend.
Are you finding people are putting more of a backing into the routine? Like, not so much a routine, but it's becoming a ritual. It's becoming a time to quiet the mind. You know what I mean? Just focus on yourself, or focus on one task at least. There's a lot of noise right now. And are you finding clients are really kind of just embracing almost the ritualistic nature of skincare?
Absolutely. I think self-care has never been more important than it is right now. And people are home more, some people are home more, which gives them more of an opportunity to spend time on themselves. And I will say, as a mom, my commitment to take care of myself in my skincare regimen, which literally only takes 3 minutes in the morning and at night. You would think 3 minutes is not hard. Sometimes it's a challenge.
It absolutely is a challenge.
Like at night, I'll put my kids in the bath and I will take 3 minutes and focus on myself in that mirror and take care of myself for those 3 minutes. And that commitment is so important when you're constantly taking care of everyone else around you. And I think that's true for a lot of people across the board. You know, people are really learning that in especially stressful times, that's the time to kick up your self-care, or you're not going to hold it together.
Yeah. And what would you say, so going back to East Coast, West Coast, like on the East Coast, we're experiencing some harsh weather changes, and therefore our skin routine and rituals need to change along with that. Now, California is a little bit more of a moderate climate, but there's still probably changes that you guys have to go through on a seasonal basis. And what are you recommending to your clients right now who live more in that moderate climate?
So fall is actually one of my favorite skincare seasons. We do switch things up seasonally here. It's not quite as dramatic. I'm originally from the East Coast, so I remember the winters.
Where are you from?
I'm from Philly. I'm from Montgomery County.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I used to live in Media, PA.
Nice. So I grew up in Willow Grove.
Oh, Willow Grove. Yeah. There you go. And then that's how you know Rachel. There you go. Yeah.
So I do remember the major climate changes, even though I haven't been in winter since maybe like 2005. But,
bless you.
Fall, we tend to just kind of have like an extended fall here. And fall is amazing for anything that's brightening. So brightening is a big focus in fall. If I were taking clients, I'd be doing peels and we'd be jumping into all of the brightening stuff. And then I also love to use fall as the time to acclimate clients to vitamin A and retinols. In my skincare philosophy, I see every client as being on the path to retinol. That's that's the end of the road and what they're going to stay on forever. So
and retinol takes some acclimation. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but why is that?
That's
why
okay.
is it on the path to retinol? What about retinol is so appealing to you?
So there's a couple of powerhouse things that we have topically in skincare that can really help with aging and actually with acne as well. And retinol would be the number one in my opinion, maybe second only to sunscreen, which is a preventative. Retinol is what's going to keep that fresh collagen coming up. It's also a tyrosinase inhibitor, which is, I can talk more about when I talk about the brightening, but it helps to keep the complexion really nice and smooth and even, and it helps with texture, it helps with hyperpigmentation. There's almost nothing it doesn't do. It's really our most advanced option in terms, like, shy of going into Botox and plastic surgery and in like crossing the road into that.
Yeah.
The most powerful tool we have is retinol.
Got it.
So, and I mean, even for my teen clients, my acne clients, the only people I don't use retinol on would be like pregnancy and during those family planning years, I don't go there, but retinol is just such a powerful, amazing tool. And in my product line, I use, just shy of a prescription strength. So it does take some acclimation, and fall is really the best time of year to like get your skin used to it and setting yourself up for success for the rest of the year.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you for diving into that. And so brightening is really big right now. What else is really big?
So with the brightening, what I like to add in for people, like I said, was these tyrosinase inhibitors, which is essentially what stops your skin from overproducing melanin in certain places, which is like, coming off of summer, it's usually from a lot of sun exposure or hormones, trauma, heat. There's a lot of things that can trigger hyperpigmentation. So we like to kind of add in tyrosinase inhibitors like azelaic acid, vitamin C, retinol, arbutin. And those are the things that I really like to kind of step up in the fall. And then I'm sorry, what was your original? I just forgot what
No,
your original question was.
the original question was just kind of what are we transitioning for the fall out in the West Coast? You know, what are you introducing your clients to in the fall that you might not do in the summer, the spring?
So really it's all about the actives. So
right.
in the summer, we're more protecting your skin from all of the elements we're planning on you being in, because it's beautiful outside and we want you to be out in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like a recovery process. In the fall, everyone's getting back to their routines. They're kind of reassessing their skincare, adding in more steps and cycling out your serums, because, you know, you don't want to just keep using the same thing all year round. You want to kind of, you know, amp up your skin. So really it's about adding in the actives when the weather isn't going to be an issue.
Right.
And then for my East Coast clients, I really recommend doing that and also increasing the hydration and the moisturization, because you're going to have that kind of lack of humidity and the chill in the air and the wind and the snow and all the things.
all the things. All the things. I love how you call it a recovery process. I think that's a really clever way of doing it, because, you know, the summer there's so much going on and there's go. I mean, this year is a little different, but the fall is grounding almost in a sense. And I love that recovery process. I really like talking about it like that. I'm going to pivot a little bit.
Sure.
And kind of go back to what we do, which is bedding. And I'm curious, I mean, and this might be something that's increasing on your clientele's mind, but I'm curious if bedding is something that you talk with your clients. You actually mentioned it before about how you're hopefully 6 to 8 hours in contact with your bedding when you're sleeping. And that's a big chunk of time during your day, every day, that your skin is in contact with a fabric. And so is that something that you have talked with your clients about? Is that something that you think estheticians in general is on their radar?
It should be. It absolutely should be, because like you're saying, it's so many hours out of your day. The clients that I talk about this the most with are my acne clients. So I am an acne specialist.
Right.
Even before COVID, I have a virtual acne program. So I have national clients that I work with virtually for their acne, and pillowcases is one of the number one lifestyle things that we address. Just the cleaning of them and making sure that I have clients just keep a stack of fresh pillowcases next to their bed and just be switching them out each night. Wow. Because that bacteria can build up. And then also hydration, like people tend to think of like wanting to like strip away acne, but hydration is a huge key in the fight against acne. Right. And if you're using a material that's constantly drying out your face at night, it's going to be problematic. So I talk about it a lot with my clients, probably less so with my anti-aging clients, but I think that I need to probably step that up, because the hydration is a huge piece of it. And again, it's those things that you're doing every single day that make the difference in your skin.
Absolutely. That's what I had a call with our founder, Allison, today, and she put it so eloquently about how like our innovative fabric is not just one more thing that we're adding to your wellness. Because I think sometimes people can get really overwhelmed. Like you said, your skincare routine is 3 minutes. That's incredible. And that's all it has to be. It doesn't have to be this 45-minute regime every day. And that's where she sees bedding. Like, yes, it's an investment, but it's not an additive. You know what I mean? It's not taking up more time. But it's something that you can do to invest in your skin. You know, these innovative fabric that she's designed to regulate moisture, temperature, and friction. And it's a huge investment that you can make for your skin. And so that's one thing that we've been seeing, is that estheticians are bringing that up more and more to their clients, of like, especially, I mean, with the introduction of masks too, right? Like
masks, it's a huge, you guys making masks out of this fabric is a really big deal. Especially, I have a huge acne clientele. I mean, all of them need that mask. The friction.
Let us know. Yeah.
The friction is a big deal. You know, it's constant. And, you know, a lot of my clients are in the medical field. And they likely need to have the N95 masks while
Right.
they're at work. But when they're not at work and they're out in the world, they still have to wear a mask.
Right.
And the movement and the friction is, it's called acne mechanica. It's the mechanical friction against your face. And of course, this is like the area that we all break out the most. So it's like, this is where the mask is.
Yeah.
Of course. So it's a unique challenge. I'm working really hard on developing more and more things to help people with the acne situation. A lot of my clients have regressed. Like you were saying, the East Coast esthetician was talking about that regression. I've had clients that have been clear for 2-3 years. Myself, I've been clear for 5 years. It's all coming back because of these masks.
Wow. And that's something I haven't, you hear about the mask knee and you see all these articles about it, but I haven't, and rightfully so, I should have, but like people that have suffered from acne prior to that, like just what that wrench it throws into their plan. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's frustrating. But again, it's one of those things like now we have a new challenge and we're going to figure it out.
Right.
I'm sure your masks are going to be part of it.
Well, you have a great attitude about it. I'm sure, especially some of maybe your younger clients, that's really frustrating. Really,
it is.
Really frustrating.
It's frustrating. But I mean, part of that is like what I love about being an esthetician and why I got into this career is, I had problem skin my whole life. It was incredibly hard on my self-esteem. It was constant. And all it takes is clearing one client to just fall in love with wanting to do it again and again and again. So, this is just more fuel for me. More fuel for me to help more people. So
that's great. Okay, so I'm going to do my last question, which I ask everyone.
Okay.
And it tends to be a really hard question for people that love skin as much as you do.
Okay. I'm ready.
One thing that you do for your skin every single day.
Oh, wow. That is a good question because there are a lot of things.
Right. There's a ton of things, but if there's one thing that you had to pick that you could only do for your skin, like, you know what I mean? If there was one thing, what would it be?
Man.
It's tough.
It's conceptually, the one thing I do is I make that time for myself morning and night. And I might have kids hanging onto my legs and whining and I might have to battle for the time, but I will battle for it.
Yeah.
So making the time is one thing. If I had to pick one product.
Yeah. Tough.
I guess I'd have to say cleanser because your skin needs to be clean. But it's a little toss up with sunscreen too, because, that's our main preventative.
Right.
And also I want to say retinol again.
Yeah, I know. It's not an easy question. Don't worry. You're not the only one that's given me multiple answers. I don't know that I've had anyone that's just given me like a one-word answer. It's just too hard. It's too hard. Well, Lindsay, I can't thank you enough for your time. You were so wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. And thank you for all the wonderful information and also for your positivity today. Like it was, I feel like I felt your energy and I know our readers will feel it too. So I just really